Hello and welcome to No Spin. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Well, it's been a nasty confrontation between the Governor of Tamil Nadu and the state government this week with unprecedented scenes in the assembly. Completely moving away from convention, the governor omitted portions of his speech which was supposed to spell out the government's agenda. And then he stormed off while the chief minister moved a resolution to retain the original speech. But this isn't the first time that both sides have been at loggerheads. There have been a series of run-ins between the two for some time. The governor also sitting on a number of bills that have been passed by the assembly. Now, DMK MPs are meeting the president here in Delhi tomorrow at 11:45 in the morning with a letter from Chief Minister Stalin protesting the governor's conduct. This confrontation is also not limited to Tamil Nadu because now we are seeing more and more governors getting into scraps, particularly with opposition-ruled states. So who is out of line here? That is what we're talking about tonight. And our first guest this evening is Kiran Bedi, who was, of course, the Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. There, she had several run-ins with the Congress government as well. Kiran Bedi, it is a rather unseemly confrontation in Tamil Nadu at the moment between the governor and the DMK government. Experts say the governor has clearly overstepped and has not served his office well. What would you say? Would you agree?
Nidhi, I don't agree, because reading of the Indian Constitution, I think people need to read the Indian Constitution and the articles. And let me explain to you a little bit. The Article 153 onward says, I'm not a jurist, I'm not a constitutional expert, but let's read the article which a common man must know. Let's look at his oath first. His oath is to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution and the well-being of the people of the state, period. There's no ifs and buts on this. Now it is up to the governor, when some matter comes to him, that is it preserving, is it protecting, as is it defending the Constitution? And is it in the larger welfare of the people of the state? Number one. Number two, is the Council of Ministers is there to aid and advise the governor? But he's not bound. Nowhere does it say he's bound. I've not read a word he's bound. I've not read this word. I am open to correction. So Council of Ministers to aid and advise. And also that he has, other than even on matters of his discretion, he doesn't need any aid and advice. The Constitution doesn't say that. Reading of the bare act, bare article, doesn't say that, Nidhi. That's why it's very important to understand. So here is a gentleman who is exercising his discretion, who's got his aid and advice, but has decided to refer the matters to the President of India. Third, very important is that under Article 163(2), it says his discretion is final and validity cannot be questioned.
But Kiran Bedi,
this is the article.
This case,
I'm reading the article.
In this case, there is a convention where, in this case, there is, the rules clearly say that the governor reads the speech of the state government in the assembly as the president does in parliament. So isn't what he did against the spirit of what his office is supposed to do? He's also sitting on a number of bills that have been passed by the assembly. Why omit portions of the government's speech?
The word is not sitting, Nidhi. Word is not sitting. Word is that he's under consideration. And that under the law, the Constitution empowers him to refer the matters to the president. So he's not sitting. These are matters under examination. And maybe he has a different view. And nowhere does it say that whatever he gets, he's going to sign on the dotted line. The Indian Constitution doesn't say that. It's not I'm saying it. I am reading the Constitution once again. And know what that means. It varies from government of India and also the state government. So how does he perform this role? Varies situation to situation, person to person. And but as I said, 163(2) says his discretion is final. So if he's omitted a portion in that speech, it is in his discretion.
It's not a discretion.
It is in his discretion.
It goes against every.
And it cannot be questioned.
It can be questioned because it goes against every existing convention.
That's a point. It's a convention or a practice. The point is, this is an evolving issues. You have an officer, you have a situation which is politically complex, etc., etc. But here is a governor who's exercising his discretion at an empowers him. The Constitution does not say whatever comes to him, he has to sign. And he has to speak.
But Kiran Bedi, isn't there a worrying pattern that we're seeing here, and a very clear pattern, that there are governors now that are, at loggerheads with state governments, especially those of opposition ruled states, whether it is Tamil Nadu at the moment, Kerala has seen it, Bengal has seen it, Telangana has seen it. Is this healthy for our democracy?
That's the point is, India is both unitary and federal. The governorship is the unitary element of the Indian Union of States. It's a union of states. And the governor is the unitary element, like all India civil services, is the unitary element of our government. So you have elected assemblies, yet you have an unelected governor, but appointed governor, but as a constitutional head who's got his powers and responsibilities clearly assigned. So that's the unitary element. You don't have an elected governor, but you have an appointed governor.
And
who's the unitary element of
is it just a coincidence that
Union of States?
Is it just a coincidence that these confrontations are happening between governors only in opposition ruled states? I mean, have governors become agents of the centre?
Or let's put it the other way. Are the governors agents of the state, or are the governors becoming more sensitive in protecting the integrity and defending the Constitution? Maybe. So why don't we put it the other way? The governors are becoming more alert wherever they are, that they are becoming more sensitive in protecting and preserving an integrity of the country. So put it this way, rather than saying, are the governors questioning? I would say the state governments. So he's protecting. He's becoming a very vital link between the state and the governor.
But ma'am, the governor is not above an elected government. The elected government comes first.
He's not above, but he is appointed by the, and he's got his powers very clearly doctored in the Indian Constitution. He chooses to exercise them. He is choosing to exercise them. Nothing bars him from choosing them. If in the past they've not been used, you can't say that they didn't exist.
Well, Kiran Bedi, I have to leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. You, of course, have had, as I was saying right at the beginning, your own run-ins with the then Congress government in Puducherry in the past. Let me go straight across to our panelists this evening and get a comment first from Mr. Manuraj, spokesperson of the DMK, on what Kiran Bedi was saying there, Manuraj. She's saying governors have, they're exercising greater responsibility, etc., etc. How would you react to her comments today?
Well, we want them to exercise greater responsibility, but as the old saying goes, with responsibility comes accountability, and accountability is only available to those who are elected. Dr. Kiran Bedi tried to project as if this is an ongoing or developing issue, but let me just clarify, Nidhi, for your viewers through you, that this position is settled law in 1975. The Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab, a 7-judge bench, if I recall, says so. It says that governors have no discretion at all, even in matters involving, certain interpretations of the law or constitution. Who can interpret the constitution is the constitutional courts, the high courts under Article 226 and the Supreme Court under Article 32. So I take some serious objection to what Dr. Kiran Bedi has tried to project as an ongoing issue. Now, like you've said, it seems to be the case that in non-BJP states or opposition-ruled states that the governors have suddenly started taking a greater interest. And we've seen that, even something as formal as a curtain raiser, which is what the governor's address is. It is not some great constitutional obligation. It's a mere statement given on a piece of paper to read. It is something akin to a teleprompter that a news anchor or reader may have in front of her.
Well, I object to that, because don't assume that we just read everything off the teleprompter. But I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, that is what, like I said, the President of India does the same. In the addresses to Parliament, it's basically a statement of intent on the government's behalf. And Sanjay Hegde, just on the legal point, you're here with us. The DMK has a point there. Kiran Bedi was citing a lot of legalese, but, the governor is not above an elected government, right?
Absolutely. And I couldn't restrain myself from hitting my head when Ms. Bedi was speaking. It is entirely unknown to constitutional law. Ms. Bedi either was deliberately being obtrusive, or she does not know the constitution, or she has not been advised, or she is unaccustomed to taking advice. The Supreme Court in Shamsher Singh, which the panelist just now said, reads thus: in England, the sovereign never acts on his own responsibility. The power of the sovereign is conditioned by the practical rule that the crown must bear advisors to bear responsibility for his action. Those advisors must have the confidence of the House of Commons. The rule of English constitutional law is incorporated in our constitution. The Indian constitution envisages a parliamentary and responsible form of government at the center and in the states, and not a presidential form of government. The powers of the governor as the constitutional head are not different. This court has consistently taken the view that the powers of the president and the powers of the governor are similar to the powers of the crown under the British parliamentary system. Now, if you were to take Ms. Bedi at her word, and heaven forbid that somebody like her took over the presidency of India, can you have a president who says, I will refuse to listen to an elected government? Well, India very nearly came to that at the time that Gyani Zail Singh almost dismissed the elected Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. But no, we are a parliamentary form of government. The Council of Ministers has the confidence of the House, and no governor in India is a governor general on the British pattern. I think that if this kind of...
By the state government, and then, there's a process, it's vetted by various officials, it's then signed off by the finance minister, the chief minister, and then finally the governor himself. And the speech was actually sent to the governor 4 or 5 days before the assembly session, and the governor has signed off on it. So then why go into the assembly and do this whole drama of omitting portions of the speech and then say, that there were things that were factually inserted last minute? Are you not worried that the constitution is actually being undermined with governors going beyond their role and their remit?
Nidhi ma'am, I would just want to say that there are very big experts here on the panel, and I think the former Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry has very clearly stated what are the powers vested to the governor as per the constitution. I'm not even going into that. I just want to ask one question here. When the governor started his speech, there were a group of MLAs standing there and shouting slogans and raising their hands and trying to oust him out of the speech. Now, is that constitutional? Now, is that allowed in the assembly? And you put up posters, you just put up your posters on NDTV now saying, "Get out, Ravi." Now, is that constitutional? Is that allowed? There is no question of acting as per the law or as per the constitution. Do you do that to the governor of the state? Do you try to raise slogans and stand like a mob and try to lower him down when he is actually speaking? I'd like to know if that is allowed. If that is constitutional and that is allowed, nobody seems to be talking about that. But everybody is very concerned about what the governor did, which was well within his power. But nobody seems to be asking about the mob that was standing in front of him and raising slogans when he was talking in the assembly. We all saw that scene as well.
I will ask the DMK about that in just a moment. But are you really saying that the governor has not crossed a line here, not just in the assembly,
I don't
but
think so.
over the period of the last few months where he's not even signing legislation?
In my personal humble opinion, I don't think he has done anything that is unconstitutional. It is his discretion. And he only removed portions that he felt did not suit what they said. They said Tamil Nadu is a haven of law and order. It is not. They said Kamaraj upholded Dravidian model, Dravidian values.
Why did he sign off on the speech then? But why did he sign off on the speech?
Going against the Dravidian ideology.
Why did he sign off on the speech then?
That was a receipt, ma'am. I think that was made very clear that as a receipt note That was not an acknowledgement of the speech. And the honorable leader of opposition, Mr. Yadapadi Palaniswamy, who came out of the assembly that day, very categorically said that we also used to send speeches to the governors, and we only knew what they spoke on the day of assembly. We never questioned it.
Let me ask Apsara Reddy, okay, of the AIADMK here, that I know you're the opposition here, Apsara Reddy, but you're also a political party. You will also be in government tomorrow. And if this is how you have a confrontation with the governor, would that not concern you if governors started, you know, in a sense, exercising more powers than are actually deemed to them?
Hi Nidhi, lovely to be back on your show after a long time. And as your show says, no spin. I don't think governors are meant to be spin doctors for an elected government. I think governors they have a constitutional duty, and they're not just emblematic figures who have to be spin doctors for the elected government. I think in his duty as a constitutional head, if there are facts that he doesn't agree with, which are lies, which are not cannot be substantiated, like for example, that Tamil Nadu is a piece of haven of peace, he has a right to kind of omit things that he doesn't understand. I'm not getting to the legal part of it, but I think we can't make the governor a rubber stamp or a spin doctor for the DMK. And the way in which he was being heckled, and if you look at the senior minister, Mr. Ponmudi's body language, while the governor was leaving, it's almost as if you're getting into a street fight. And then today, a sitting MP of the DMK, I don't know the literal translation, governor. He says basically it's like to remove leftover plates of a dinner table. That's the job of a governor. Is that the kind of language, and is that the kind of behavior that an elected government and a chief minister and his minister should exhibit? So this is absolutely condemnable, and I think it's what the DMK did is actually unconstitutional, and it actually brings disgrace and bad reputation to the state of Tamil Nadu. And DMK is not new to this kind of culture. If you go back to a couple of decades, Madam Jayalalitha was disrobed and attacked in the floor of the assembly by the very same DMK.
Senior journalist also joining us. But Sumit Raman, the point is that these confrontations, as I said, are not limited to Tamil Nadu. So, as I asked Kiran Bedi, is there a pattern here now where governors are essentially getting into fights in opposition ruled states?
Look, Nidhi, it's been a pattern, not now. It's been a pattern for the last 25-30 years. It's just that over the last couple of years, it has become more brazen than it used to be earlier. I mean, we know the number of governors in the past who have sent reports which have, conveniently reports which have led to the dismissal of state governments. I mean, that's happened dozens and dozens of times when the UPA was in, I mean, not the UPA, the Congress governments who have been in power. Now, the point very clearly is this. I'm aghast that Ms. Kiran Bedi actually mentioned that the bills are quote unquote under consideration and he's not sitting on it. The man is making use of a loophole in the law which does not specify a time frame by which he has to decide. Bills are sitting for 8 months, 10 months. That is completely unacceptable. That is blockage or putting up a roadblock for governance. And that, unfortunately, is not the role that the governor is supposed to play. He's supposed to facilitate governance, not put roadblocks for it. 15 bills are pending. Now, you agree with these bills will stand legal scrutiny, they will not stand legal scrutiny. If you feel that they won't stand legal scrutiny, nothing prevents him from rejecting them. But he's not rejecting them either, because he knows if he rejects them, the assembly will pass them again and send them back to him and we'll have no option but to sign. So he's clearly putting a roadblock to a duly elected government and preventing the will of the people as expressed through that government from prevailing. And if that is not unconstitutional, I do not know what is. Now, the point really is that the center at some stage must step in. Tomorrow, a delegation of the DMK leaders is meeting the president and they're giving a representation seeking the recall of the governor. Forget everything else. Forget what happened in the assembly yesterday. That is a sideshow. The main show is 15 bills.
Exactly.
And it was higher. It used to be 21. Now it's 15. That is what the Raj Bhavan sources say, that the current number is 15. Why have these bills? Why has he been sitting on them for months together and not either rejecting them or approving them?
Right. Absolutely. Manuraj, do you want to answer the accusations, though, both by the AIADMK and the BJP about the DMK's conduct in the assembly, particularly that day? as being unconstitutional, confrontational, etc.?
Well, I did, hope that given it is your show, Nidhi, that it would have a lot of serious issues. And I was quite surprised the BJP and ADMK haven't quite addressed the serious constitutional issues, or at least, made a case on federalism or against it. Instead, they've cited some posters that have been put around the city of Chennai. I mean, likewise, the BJP have also put posters in support of the governor. Ultimately, those are all, as to quote Dr. Sumant Raman, these are all sideshows. The key issues are twofold. One, as Dr. Raman said, that what has happened to governance and whether the governor is now putting hurdles to governance. And secondly, I think the larger question is on federalism, whether these are being targeted attacks by the center in states where there is no BJP presence or little BJP presence. And I quote three others, not just R.N. Ravi, Muhammad Arif in Kerala, Tamilisai Soundarajan in Telangana, and Anusya Uike in Chhattisgarh, where similar allegations of stalling bills, and of course Jagdeep Dhankar when he was governor of West Bengal, these are confrontations targeted at non-BJP states. And, I think it is time for many of these states to come together on a federalist platform to actually review the scope and role of governors. But, not all is lost. And my last comment on this show would be this, which is that today I have seen 4 newspapers, Indian Express, The Hindu, Times of India, and Deccan Herald, all writing editorials condemning this sort of constitutional transgression of Governor R.N. Ravi as well as others. So at least, today I want to say that, media has rightly pointed out the constitutional position, which the BJP spokesperson and Dr. Kiran Bedi have failed to understand. And
absolutely.
I feel that
the editorials have been actually scathing. They've been very scathing about Governor R.N. Ravi's conduct and what is happening between governors and states, and which is why, Apsara Reddy, I come back to you on this point. Are you not concerned as a political party today that there are long-term implications of this? Forget your current, squabble with the DMK for a moment. Tomorrow you could be in government in Tamil Nadu, and a governor will sit on bills that you have passed in the assembly. Would you be okay with that? I mean, tomorrow somebody else's governor will say, oh, well, I'm using my, discretion. This is a well-considered thing to look at each bill and sit on it for 2 years.
Nidhi, I have to go with my party position here. I'm not here to defend the governor. I'm not here to defend what Mr. R.N. Ravi did in terms when he walked out. But I just feel there's a better way to handle it when there's a trust deficit between there's an elected representative and a constitutional head like the governor. They need to kind of find a way to address this issue rather than heckle and walk out and, pass these slogans and exhibit that kind of body language. And official DMK IT wing putting out memes and putting out, comic music while the governor is walking out and hashtagging it, Get Out Ravi. I think there's a better way for people at such senior positions and stature to deal with this.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. Sanjay Hegde, I have 30 seconds. You get the last word.
In 30 seconds, I'll quote Oliver Cromwell to Charles I. You have done enough harm. In the name of God, now go.
And on that note, I will go. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us. Let us see what tomorrow brings in this saga. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.